So I got this Eminem vinyl, and it's a mystery on where the hell it came from. I got it at my local record store for about $45, and on it is the words import. Now I bought this thinking that Eminem had released a vinyl that held some of his songs that were a bit more obscure, and then he released it a long time ago. And while that's not really hard to believe, you probably know, but Eminem has an album before Slim Shady LP called Infinite, and you can't find it anywhere on streaming platforms. But there is a single, and it's not that bad, you should listen to it. But back to the vinyl. I wanted to discover 4 things. 1. Who made this? 2. Why was this made? 3. Why is this vinyl well made? And 4. Why was it expensive, and who was it made for? With those topics in mind, let's explore the Eminem bootleg, Eminem, the King is Back. First, let's take a look at the vinyl itself. So the cover is of Eminem sitting in a chair with a crown on his knee. The title is The King is Back, which is interesting since a cut album of Eminem's is King Mathers. The back is Eminem in a stylistic form, and there are tracks like Nail in the Coffin, The Sauce, Invasion, and these songs are diss tracks and are not on streaming services. It's a single LP with a nice protective sleeve, which is kind of weird for a bootleg. I have a feeling most of them would not spend the time to give you a nice sleeve. And the cover is slightly off with the track list on it. So let's talk about it. So I took the cover and did a reverse image search and found some results. I may have had to make a Facebook in the process. And I got nothing. But look at this. Eminem in a chair, and that matches perfectly. Okay, so we know that this cover is photoshopped, and it looks like it's from the photo shoot of XXL in 2005 in January that I found here. The back cover, on the other hand, is a weird Etsy drawing or a drawing that someone made, and they just stole online. Oh, and during that search, I found that these songs are even named wrong. Speaking of that, let's go through them and see if they're on streaming services. So going through them, they are all very obscure songs. This Reddit post is super useful and explains all the songs' real names and where they're from. And I did some searching and I found that every video is on YouTube with decent views. So you can use YouTube if you want to listen to them, but they're not on Spotify besides Conspiracy, which is in the Eminem Show Deluxe. So we know this about the vinyl now. The cover is just a XXL article from 2005 of a photo shoot with M that has been pretty well photoshopped. The back is stolen art from an Etsy shop or someone, which is also stolen by way too many other places. And the songs are all random, mostly disses and freestyles with some songs that are on streaming services. Taking another look at the vinyl, I can see that there is an address on the back left. Ganton House, 1422 Ganton Street, London, WIV 1LB. So, let's take a look. The address takes us to an alley in London, and here is the building itself. Building 22, in the 14th room, someone made this vinyl. Maybe. It seems weird that someone in London just made this in the room. I thought maybe a factory or like a store, but who has a vinyl maker? Interesting. Now there are 2 things I want to bring up. We can confirm that this was made in the EU, as on the disc itself is writing that declares it. It was made from there. And the other thing is that this could be the person that was in charge of this bootleg, as this is information for copyright, but no email is given, so that kind of blows. Oh, and this date here, 2022. The Google Maps is from 2012, so we don't have relevant information right now. Now, here on the label is also a company, so let's look into that. The company is a British licensing company used for putting your music online, radios, shows, and other stuff like that. Why would a bootleg use licensing? They wouldn't be able to play that without being sued. So I tried to send them an email on the subject at hand, and they sent me back this. Now, interestingly, they sent an address. So of course, let's take a look. This leads me to an office building above a restaurant. Now, there isn't anything weird, but the building is not very official. It's just an ordinary upstairs building. So this company isn't rich balling or super popular. It's a smaller company. I sent an email to my local record shop to see if they can tell me where the vinyl came from and what website, so hopefully I can reach that company. Now right now, that's all my leads closed on who this is. But before I stop, let me do some last minute searches, and here, have a coffee and a dog break. Who's good girl? You good girl? Here, dab me up. Aw, paw. You been eating your paw again? Good girl. let's get back to it. Okay, so it's been a day since I last did that, and we have some responses. So let's regroup. Now, I did some digging, and this area is really close to the PPL store. And I found this document that mentions PPL, which is the British licensing company. But weirdly, the address is the building, and not where the PPL website shows you. But they are close. So is this building a psych out? Which address is who? Now, on to the responses. The record store got back to me and said that they had the record from an older owner who left it there, also saying that they got it from Britain, which kind of makes sense because what we have already. But I think that's where it ends. I can't go any more from here. But let's answer those questions from before. We don't know who exactly, but we know that they live at 1422 Ganton Street, London, WIV 1LB, in Building 14, and are directly connected with Phonographic Performance Ltd or PPL. And if they're not the same person, it's weird that they have this address listed on both their streets and different locations at different websites, but they're not the same place. They're two different locations. Now, they most likely made this for the reason that these songs are all hard to come across and would basically be a mixtape. It's weird that it's vinyl, but that's not far off. The first production was in 2009, which is interesting, and then they started back up again according to Discogs in 2022. So they have a market for the product. As for the well-made part, it's interesting. The choice to pull the image from XXL article from 2005, when they made it 4 years later in 2009, is weird. And the Etsy drawing seems different on different versions, almost like they couldn't find the original from 2009 and made it again in 2022. I assume the reason the sleeve and product are made well is because this is the second launch of the product, and they may have wanted to make it better and then the last one, and kind of like as a homage or maybe make more money, and almost make it more seem official. Now, as for the expensive part, it's an import. That's why it could be more money depending on where you get it. It's much, much cheaper in London. Now, that's kind of where all this ends. There's nothing much about the vinyl. I don't know who goes there. I don't know who the person is. I don't know what the really company does. I haven't got a response back, and it says that I'm in line, or I'm in queue, or I'm account number like 11 million. So I don't think they're getting back to me. And I'm gonna ask for you guys' help. If you know anyone near the street that I listed, let me know. Maybe we can get to the bottom of this record and where it came from. Other than that, that's where the trail ends. Now, I'm happy to own this, and who knows, maybe it will cost something in the future. I don't fuck you up, trying to jump the rough riders and they cut you up and you put Jada on a